We are now being recorded.
All right, we'll get started. Call the meeting to order. We do have one citizen. I just wanted to, and can you tell me your name again? I'm sorry.
Jennifer Adams.
Jennifer, would you like to make any comments or?
No, just listening in.
Great. Thanks for being here. Could we consider approving the minutes for November 15th? Y'all get a chance to look at them? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Queen.
I motion to approve.
Okay, second.
That's second.
Thank you. Receive a committee status update. So, I had the board meeting or chair board meeting on last week. And I think I copied you all on the email I sent to the mayor and the city council. So I just thought I would, did we talk about this already? I would respond or let you know the responses I got from some of the people. So Omar Roman, he's one of the council members. He said, thank you. I was going to read the emails. Do you feel all right with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or summarize that. Okay. Thank you for your email. It definitely has sparked some additional thoughts and questions about this board, and I've sent them to our staff for feedback. I'm not sure where the other city councils or mayor's thoughts are on incorporating sports into our city. Mind you, I'm not the biggest sports fan by any means. I spent my high school extracurricular activities in art. But here are mine. Farmers Branch is becoming the focal point for sports in the Metroplex. I'm not sure where all the interest is coming from, but there's something unique about our city that makes it ideal for pickleball, volleyball, basketball, hockey, and soccer. As a council member, rather than ignoring what I believe to be inevitable, I ponder the question of how can we better prepare and to embrace and leverage all the sports that are coming? How can we do so while involving the public, keeping costs low, not burning out our staff, etc.? The list of questions goes on. This item was a study session item because we're still trying to figure things out. We're trying to see where sports fits in our boards, if at all. This conversation is in its early stages from my perspective, and things are likely to change. Ideas may develop, more questions may persist, and resident feedback will received. Thus, the waters are muddy on what is going to happen, but I think we will be able to find an outcome where all interests can coexist in our city. Just for context, our board was being considered to merge with a sports board or a sports element added to the arts and culture. And I sent an email saying that didn't seem like the best grouping and that arts can stand on its own and we bring value to the city as well as sports.
Did they talk about moving it to like Parks and Rec?
Well, Parks and Rec already has a board and they're super busy, so they wanted something separate where it's sports, because there is a lot of sports going on here and there are a lot of like events like that. Huge pickleball tournament just happened. And so
Pocket park, they changed from the tennis courts to a little soccer field. It's awesome.
yeah, and like all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to figure out how to best support that. But I just didn't think that merging arts with sports, it was going to dilute the arts or not do enough for the sports. So my comments were more, if you don't want to support the arts, then don't, and then have sports, or we can exist separately or find ways to collaborate if there are any ever. But so then the mayor, hi Amy.
Sorry.
I'm just reading the emails I've gotten back from my email that I sent to the mayor and the city council about our board.
Fun.
Yeah, so I just read one about from Omar, and he said that, they were still in the beginning phases of the discussion and more was gonna be talked about. And then the mayor said, thank you for your note and the list of accomplishments that you included. Since the last study session, I have had discussions with a number of individuals regarding the status of the Arts and Culture Committee and other city boards. In fact, we are scheduled to have more discussion at the next study session time and agenda pending or permitting. Additionally, since last study session, I have changed my opinion as to how I believe we should proceed. I reversed my opinion to do away with the Arts and Culture Committee. Instead, it needs to change its direction slightly, and I will discuss that with the council. It does not need to be combined with a sports emphasis. In my opinion, we need a separate sports board that will focus more on the business of sports, totally separate and apart from arts and culture. Again, more to be discussed at the next study session, so no need to panic. Nothing drastic will be done at this time. More discussion with the council needs to occur. Ultimately, it will be their decision. I hope this helps and appreciate that you have all you've done for the city. Feel free to send me any additional concerns that you might have. And then David Merritt wrote, I wanted to reach out to you and thank you for this note to the city council. I also want to let you know that the point for the need of clear intentions and purpose is one I share wholeheartedly. Change without purpose and transparency, in my opinion, only fosters an us versus them culture. Thank you and the entire Arts and Culture Committee for your service to our community. Obviously, this situation desire is not settled, and I believe there is much more discussion, both public and individually, among council members, committee members, and city staff ahead before anything is decided or acted upon. So, seems like they've changed their minds on cutting us. But I just had a meeting with the board chairs last Wednesday, and it's like a status update of what all of our boards are doing. And I mentioned that we need more people, right? We've lost 3, so, and they are going to replace those 3. And it sounded, the notes I took sounded like it was gonna happen soon, like,
Well, it's on the agenda for discussion next week.
perfect.
And I believe, do you want me to add to that now?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so I did talk to Stacy and we have 5 applications, plus we have that have picked the board as the first choice, and we have 3 or 4 that put it as a second choice. So we have 1 resident position available, and then 2 regular resident. So all 3 are resident positions, and the deadline to have the applications, I think, has passed, but there's several people. So it's just gonna go to the council. They'll make discussion. They'll make decisions, and I believe March, I want to say. So
Yeah.
it is on the agenda and it is moving forward. So that's
Great.
exciting.
So I feel
Yeah.
good about that. They're gonna replenish our people. They did mention, and I asked what else they would want, like what I mentioned all the accomplishments we've had so far, like
We get collateral for that, meaning like marketing, like if you come up with a flyer like Dawn did for Branch Arts Live,
Okay,
then she will send it on. She'll do the inviting.
we can do that.
Yep.
Great,
So the sooner the better,
Okay.
and she'll get it on their calendars also.
okay.
And I would think that would include the
Perfect.
mayor.
yeah, he seemed
Yes.
like he was interested. I don't know that they would all come, but then they also wanted me to present when I do the presentations, what happened, how it went, like, to maybe focus on that a little bit. They're excited
Perfect.
about the idea and want to support it, so.
Okay,
And when we get to that in our agenda,
Mhm.
then I have a couple of things for you to share. too.
okay, perfect.
They also mentioned, and this is muddy for me because it was kind of a surprise on a few fronts, but the mayor had talked about that there's a multicultural subcommittee. And they're doing, what's the event called again?
Global, I wrote it down.
Yeah, it's a global multicultural event.
Yes.
Through the city, which is like a one-time special events thing, which I didn't know there was even a multicultural
On March
subcommittee
23rd,
happening.
Gateway to the Globe.
Gateway to the Globe. So after talking to Bonnie, she was saying, well, that's a one-time committee where it's just for that event and then it goes away. And the mayor made it sound like, well, he'd want us to collaborate or combined committees where we would be arts and multicultural.
So they wanted to bring, because we did the Viva Farmers Branch a couple of years ago, which was during the Hispanic Heritage Month. And they wanted to bring more cultures because to represent Farmers Branch in the community. And so with Day of the Dead and then that Viva, they came up with this Gateway to the Globe, and they formed a subcommittee, or the council wanted to form the subcommittee. And with input from a lot of residents and people that either live or work in the community, and task them with putting on this festival, which is happening on March 23rd at the Farmers Branch Historical Park. And I believe it's like 1 to 6 or 2 to 6 or 1 to 5. So it's kind of day evening, and it's the first one of its kind. I guess we'll see how that goes. So it is under the umbrella of special events right now, who is tasked to work with this subcommittee. And special events are a group of employees that work at the city hall that put on 4th of July and the larger event.
It's like, hey, could you clarify what you're talking about? But it wasn't, he did mention that more discussion again. I think they're just trying to figure out a way to collaborate or combine our committees. So there's not a million committees out there. We're not taxing the staff, but also get us to collaborate more with things that already are happening, like the Bluegrass
Well,
Festival.
that could easily be with Branch Arts Live,
Yeah, right.
easily,
Mhm.
because it was already a cultural event that could be,
Part of it.
right.
Oh, yeah. That, well, and remember we talked about
Yeah,
it
tag it
a
on
few
here.
years ago with Gail, I think, was mentioning like
Yeah.
doing a multicultural.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, we were talking about a multicultural dance thing because Gail had contacts
Shannon.
with German
Oh, yeah.
dance group and
And it was just very difficult to, I guess, at that time for her to, I think she reached out and timing or something, it didn't work out, but
Mhm.
absolutely, we would want that to be.
oh my gosh, yes. That exactly meets, the direction we want to go. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
so that could easily become part of that vision.
Mhm.
So if
Yeah.
that,
So I think what I'm reading is that they're interested in us kind of finding ways in which the arts and culture can support some of the things that are already happening and
Right.
or like, help grow this Branch Arts Live. I believe in July is when they sort of go over the boards again. That's the big meeting to like assess all the boards and.
Well, June is the last of the board. I guess that's
Oh,
when
that's
it,
the year.
yeah,
right.
that's when people's term is expired, and then they start back up in August.
Yeah.
So I think July is when they make decisions and.
Mhm.
That's
So
the way
that
I
was just something that was brought up that I thought y'all should know about, and,
so I think
I'll
we
try to get
saw
more
that at
answers.
one of, I think I saw that on one of the meetings, and it kind of took me back, and I was like, oh, do we still go with Branch Arts Live? Do we,
mhm.
go a different direction? Are they doing it? But it was told to me it was gonna be a very different event, but the thought process of pulling it together could.
So,
And I do know they're gonna have like one main stage, and they'll bring on different cultures, whether they're dancing or whatever their talents are that they're showcasing. So I think that fits right into Branch Arts Live.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have any of y'all been to Oklahoma City? They have this arts festival they have annually that has an enormous amount of representation from all sorts of countries all over the world. each of them has their own little stall, like restaurants, like of, you know, different nations or countries or whatever. They'll have like their food on display or whatever, you know, for sale. The Viva event, I think I actually sent an email to the city and was like, congrats on, you know, acknowledging that there are other people in this kind of, in this city. Hopefully next year y'all represent more. Just looking at me, you would know, but I was born in Venezuela and my dad's Peruvian. So those are two Latin cultures that could have easily been represented, because I know that there's certain restaurants in the local area that they probably could have been approached and like, I'm totally on board with getting more representation of different cultures. I mean, if anything, just more introduction to like good food and diversification.
So, yeah, like Plano, I know does a multicultural event, and then you could start adding art vendors where they're making, you know, artists that are doing
Mhm.
things that are specific to their culture or, process. I mean, clay is such an easy one to do, but, and paintings. And so I don't think it would be, I think it'd be an interesting collaboration and
Yes.
encourage, I think it would be interesting to bring that together. I'm excited to see what it is once it happens, see what they come up with, and then,
We could get the contact information of that subcommittee, that would be great.
yeah, I don't know who's,
And
Well-
was any intention to expand the role of this once a year event committee?
yeah.
So I think the concept of collaboration is worth leaning into.
Mhm,
My initial concern when they talked about merging with the sports committee
Mhm.
is that it would dilute our effort. I think that we might not be particularly like-minded
mhm.
in our agendas. So that was of some concern to me personally.
Yeah.
It would be Jeff Fairchild who is overseeing, that, who is our, works for the city of Farmers Branch. Him and Sandy, who, are overseeing that subcommittee or running it. They're the staff liaison for it, Jeff, Geoff Fairchild. And Sandy Carter, who's our sponsorship. She gets the sponsorships, and they'll have food trucks, you know, from all different countries and, you know, entertainment and
Growing the Branch Arts Live every year, and what does that look like?
Mhm.
And so that would be a perfect thing to expand upon what we did this past year to then, because we were already talking about food trucks. And
Mhm.
so that would be an easy thing to
merge.
merge and fulfill a lot of needs of the community.
Mhm. They also mentioned, the library, maybe collaborating with the library board, they have this new amphitheater that they put a pickleball court on, but it's easily can be still just an amphitheater where you could do music events or, you know, once a
challenge.
Yeah,
Because
we'd have to come
we
in
would do
here.
things outdoors and then the library was closed. And so there were no public restrooms for the citizens.
That's, yeah.
So
I didn't
it's,
think
it's
about
kind of
that.
like the Grove. They thought about all those things, electricity, light,
Mhm.
sound, bathrooms. Here, they put some benches out there and then they converted it to a pickleball court. And now
Mhm.
they're saying, you know, do some dances out there or
Right.
bring a
but there's no
roving musician. But there's no bathroom. I mean, I don't know. There,
Yeah.
there didn't used to be access to bathrooms.
That's a good
And
question.
so, you know, there's some things like sound, lights,
Mhm.
electricity, some things like that,
Well, and at one point, we weren't allowed to use amplified music.
right?
And that may still be a
There
restriction,
was some sound.
because I know that's a
Yeah.
restriction
Yeah.
also at the performance space by City Hall. I
Mhm.
don't know if that's changed, but that was the requirement, no amplified music.
I'm sure
There were
city
also-
code prohibits that in a residential area.
Yeah.
They're also,
Probably depends off the water.
A bird issue in the trees.
A bird issue?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know,
With the
just
egrets.
lots
Yeah.
of birds. I don't even know if it was egrets, but there were just lots of birds
Yeah.
that
Oh,
would
noise.
hang around the trees and make lots of
Well-
noise. And so if you're up.
We were
acting
chased by
unamplified-
one time.
Yeah, yeah, it just wasn't, it wasn't set up
It wasn't
for,
ideal.
as compared to the Grove. So it's like our city knows how to do that.
Yeah.
When we do events at the historical park and we rent the stage and do all that stuff, you know,
Mhm.
there's porta potties, there's all those things are thought through.
Mhm.
This one isn't really set up to be an outdoor public space with all the things that someone would expect.
Mhm.
Essentially,
Restrooms
seating
being-
area.
It's really just a sitting area that's outdoor. Yeah, I mean, it could just be benches, you know, which is nice, but
Right.
it
But
doesn't
not
give
enough.
you, yeah, all the rest of those things.
Yeah.
You also take special care and paying attention to the little bathrooms that they added at Oregon Good. That, I guess they opened this weekend, to see how that's received by the city and the citizens and stuff like that. I know that COVID brought up a lot of homeless persons into our community that haven't dispersed or gone back to where they were. And there's some concern about those bathrooms and what time do they close, open and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then they moved that overhang just over right here on the trail. But there was a guy that would hang out there too. So if that does well, if there's good reception,
Activities that are going on, which I think is good. Um, that's all I have for the question. Move on. The artist exchange.
Okay, so we are set for, when our subcommittee had a meeting today. We are set for February 28th. And we're looking at actually, we're confirming 6 to 7:30 at the firehouse. And we are going to get invitations out. We looked at the artist database today, so we'll be contacting all of those people that are registered with an invitation and recommending that they invite another artist or perhaps a business member in the community that might benefit from this interaction. It will be more of a meet and greet. There will be an introduction, but it will be more of a meet and greet situation for us to help people make connections. And then there will be an exit survey, and the exit survey will include things like if this committee were to organize another event again, what would benefit you? And then, you know, several different things so that we can kind of understand going forward what would be helpful. The goal on this would be to connect artists to other artists so that they can collaborate, and then artists to business/community members that might be seeking the services of an artist. And of course, as always, we do want to encourage people to register on that database.
And can I add to that?
Yeah,
So we are updating the web, and we're in the process of doing that. We just got access to it. So Kim and I have been working diligently on updating. The button is working, and it does put you in the right place. With that being said, so a couple of things. I know we talked about you know, what can we hand out? You guys were talking, so I went ahead and got everyone new name tag.
Thank you.
And, so we are ordering, stickers for you guys and this is just, has a little bit of a background, but it's actually a cutout. And it just says arts and culture. But what we came up with for you all, the night of the event is that here's arts and culture. And then if they, scan the QR code, it'll take them to the webpage so they could learn more about what arts and culture.
Perfect.
So we're gonna laminate this. I can give it to you at the next month, or you could take this one, so you have but
Great.
we'll laminate it. You could put it on your table, your welcome table. I did bring you, the stickers are on order, and I did bring you a bunch of, kind of like giveaways that they say historical park on them, but they're just items that when they come up to the table, and then we'll have our stickers, it's arts and culture. I have the stickers that say, Mustang Station Arts and Culture District and things like that. So you'll have that. And you'll have an updated website that they could really look at, that everything that arts and culture is doing. I also have a few inquiries, which me and you corresponded a little bit.
Yes.
So, we did encourage them to register. One is a muralist. I was gonna pass that on to you, Amy, if you wanted to invite them. to
Yes, I
your-
do.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So,
And then I have Christopher's contact
yes,
information.
and I
so
have Christopher in here.
I'll make sure
and-
that he gets the official invite as well.
Yeah, here's Christopher. So here's Christopher, was someone who reached out. Chris Stevenson is another person
Okay.
that reached out. This, Yahara Enriquez, who is a muralist. She said she's already registered for the database, but here's my correspondence with her. And then, I had one more. Her name is Constance Hammett, and she was interested in arts and culture.
Great.
So I wanted to give you this, which I will after the meeting's over.
Awesome,
So you
thank
have
you.
some contacts there.
Yes.
And I figure if we reach out to them, that's just more people that are from our community that are interested in being involved in arts and culture.
That's great. I'll be
Yeah.
on top of that.
For the businesses, I know that MetroCrest Services is technically Carrollton, but I know that they're wanting a mural. Because they've asked our students to do it, and when you ask students to do something when there's no money or incentive involved, it's very difficult to get them to do it. So, that might be, I don't know, I know that they're not Farmers Branch, but still, it would be a mural, and if we could get one of Farmers Branch artists to do it, I think that would be amazing.
That's
I don't
great.
know what kind of budget they have or anything like that, but,
I'll make sure I
Where
reach
do
out
they
to
want
them.
it on there?
the south facing, when you go up Josie,
Okay,
that, there's a big wall.
I mean, it's
Huge.
huge.
Yeah. And they don't want the whole thing, I don't
Right.
think. I don't know that they have the budget for it. It kind of, I mean, it was in my hands, but I don't have painters, I have
Right,
sculptors, so,
big difference.
Well, and this
it kind of
person
fell out of
here,
my hands, so.
Mhm.
yeah, and this person who reached out, has a passion for it. So I think it's just a matter of she really is interested in being part of the community and networking,
Great.
exactly what your artist exchange is
Great.
wanting to do.
So another group we might want to consider including are vendors who work with artists. Powder coaters,
Oh, yeah,
art lighters,
yeah.
art handlers, graphic wraps vendors. It's just worth considering bringing those in,
Yeah.
giving them an opportunity to represent themselves.
The warehouse, you know, the Wachowski warehouse, they
Mhm.
have a art handling company as well, next, or in that same building,
That's great.
and they're Farmers Branch, so
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
that's a great idea.
I don't know if there are any local foundries.
Well, there, yeah, there's that one off of, Inwood and, what's it called? Sigma or something, I can't remember the name right now, but I can get it to you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Once we have this official email setup. That'll be just so easy to just send out to everybody.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Do you have a time frame on when you think the invitation would be ready that we could,
Yeah, we
One, give
said
it to-
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, we'll have it ready. Is
Okay.
that good?
Yeah, I think that whenever, the sooner the better, because I could pass that along to Stacy. We can also put it on the website and, yeah, just get exposure for you all.
Sounds great.
Anything else?
That's it.
Do you feel like you need anything from us?
No, I feel like we're really on top of things. We had a very productive meeting today, so I feel like we're ready to go.
That's great.
Um,
There's this guy named Steve Hunter who's a muralist in Dallas and has actually painted a bunch in Deep Ellum and around. He lives in Dallas. He's Scottish, I think, national. But he also does art classes and stuff like that. And it would be a good way to integrate maybe newer, younger muralists that don't know all the processes and steps that are involved because he's familiar with what the city of Dallas is required. So maybe getting him involved would be, his name's Steve Hunter.
Okay.
And would you want to maybe invite some of your fine arts teachers or like Paloma, people like that?
I mean, we can, absolutely. If you want to send me the invitation, I can send it out
Pass
for
it.
those that are still actively.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
You know.
yeah, I could send a bunch
Practicing.
out too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Versus teaching.
There's a slight difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, that's
to
great.
send that.
actually
Okay.
fun.
Yeah. I think the more the merrier, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they
Sounds
may
great.
have more contacts in regards to that.
Well, they may, yeah. I think that's the bigger thing is we're talking about network. Let's just spread those
Yeah.
webs
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I agree.
The class that I took was at his house, it was just charcoal, but, if you're
All right,
familiar with Bob House, there was a mural. that
Okay,
was-
so art shows, I think this one can probably come off for future because I keep saying the same thing over and over, so.
Okay.
But I can always attach it to my
Yeah.
festivals and contests later if need be. But
Okay.
the next art show will be, Farmers Branch Art Show will be here, the CFB, I guess I should say, Farmers Branch Art Show, will be here at the Minsky Library March 1st through April 5th.
March 1st.
First through April 5th. And I've already requested artwork from all my Farmers Branch schools, and so I'll be picking that up. And then the boards are already up, so then I'll just come in
And where's it gonna be?
here.
I mean, like where?
Oh, like you see there's pro panels like right here, you can stand up and see there's like there, and then there's also some downstairs. So I'll just. To try to, because you can put a lot on those boards, obviously depending on the size. Usually our elementary is a lot smaller.
Mhm.
High school, some of those pieces are quite large. Rocks for, and then it will be installed at the historical park a few days prior to March 7th. One of our teachers will go and install, and he usually just finds a really cool design of all the rocks that are painted. I'm about to start probably tomorrow to go collect those, the rocks from my teachers that the students did. And then I'll get them to Fred, and he will go and work with Bonnie and get it to the historical park. And then right after that, Bonnie has set up for kind of like a make and take rock painting. So therefore they can paint a rock, they can take one, put it, whatever they want
It's
to
a come and
do.
go. Yeah.
Come and go. And so we decided last year when we did the whole rock painting thing that we weren't going to try to police that area. It was gonna be if somebody felt it was needed to be with them, then they can go
Can take
ahead
it.
and take it. We didn't want to have to police that. And what's interesting, it kind of evolves throughout the entire year. Sometimes people
Mhm.
will move on into shapes or whatever, or sometimes it looks probably like a complete like mess that nothing was
Right.
ever, designed for it. But there's definitely different times, and I think it gets some traction. up
It does
there.
get traction, and so we wanted to add to that, and so we had been doing, we like to bring traffic into the park, so we do Come Fly a Kite, we do a lot of things on Sunday, and we alternate Chalk the Park, so we changed our Chalk the Park to Come Paint a Rock. So our park attendants are there and people can stop by, we'll have everything you need, a rock painting that they can come and paint a rock. They can either leave it in Mary's Garden where the exhibit will be, or they could take it with them. So we're gonna have that ongoing throughout the months, probably through summer. It's at least through the spring and we'll see how it goes. And then our camps that we have in the summer, Paloma puts on a camp at our park and we put on a Girls Make History camp and we always have them paint rocks. So we have bags of rocks. So we just keep it up. Right now, I think we started out with close to 100. I think we're maybe at 10 or 15. So Mary's Garden, we'll find a new spot, we'll clean it up and we'll make it look pretty again.
And
for-
we had more teachers that wanted to do it this year,
Yay.
so we'll probably start with a little bit more.
Good.
So, because of course I didn't want to say no, so.
No.
Yeah. So,
It's just a fun idea.
Yeah, we should mention that for the next update, council update. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't think I've ever talked about that to the
Hmm.
council, and it would be a good collaborative
Yes.
yeah, I would definitely.
piece,
And
and
then-
it would be something new to them.
And when is that? I think it's in July, the update, now
Yeah,
they changed.
well, they changed it. I feel like maybe it's not even until November.
Yeah,
Ours is,
November 12th is our year in review.
yeah.
And then the board chair meeting, the next one's July 10th.
Okay.
So January 10th, July 10th, then November 12th is our update for our committee.
So just the update one.
Mhm. So July
Yeah,
10th.
That would be great. It's a great
Okay.
collaboration.
Yes.
Bonnie has been very, ever since we started this kind of a year ago, when we met, and then it just kind of, we're growing it and expanding it and just seeing where it evolves. So
Yeah.
it's been fun.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, we'll do the subcommittee updates. So arts and public place spaces. We're still working on those contracts for the artists. It's getting so close.
So I do have an update on that. Thank you to Dawn and Natalie who've been helping me, my way through this with Caleb, the attorney. The only hiccup I see is the COI, the certificate of insurance. So after speaking with Maria, I got a little more background on when the art call first went out, they based it, the insurance requirements were based off of what Scott had done for the Firehouse Theater. Because based on that contract and those insurance requirements. But since this is a little bit more involved, the insurance, and the property is not the city of Farmers Branch, it is being leased. It's a little more involved, so the numbers are a little bit higher than what, because it was put out like only, if you feel like you can meet the requirements of the insurance, go ahead and submit your work. Well, now the requirements are a little bit different. So I thought that's something Don and I, we talked about a little bit. We looked at, he gave me some ideas. So Caleb actually emailed me right before I came, so I couldn't respond, but I want to talk to Maria a little more and I want to talk to Don for a minute on the side just to see what other options are available. So that is something I will contact the artist this week, once I get direction and then go from there. But the draft is done. And I thought everything else, I gave him your recommendations. He was adding that. And then it's just a matter of that. Do you have anything to add to with the certificate of
Well,
insurance?
so I'm sort of locked in on your comment about the land being leased, but the the land on which these three installations are going is Billingsley owned,
Yes,
and I think it's not being leased.
correct. That's right.
So,
It's,
Given that,
yes.
we could be more lenient.
Oh, okay.
I
that's right.
say that without checking with legal, but I'm confident that I can massage this in a little bit. So I'll look into that and see what I can come up with.
Okay, you're right. I misspoke. It isn't being leased, but the way the agreement is just the way it read.
Right,
Yes,
right. So, because the liability portion
yes,
and the automotive portion are the most significant aspects, which few artists are willing to commit to unless they are working a lot on a big scale. So I think that we could reduce the requirements for the liability, and the artists could contact their auto insurance company and request a bid proposal for a business coverage premium temporary, just to cover the experience of the installation.
okay,
Yeah, I don't know if I said that clearly enough.
So they would get insurance through their auto
Like an
insurance,
underwriter.
like
for this
another,
event,
yeah, sure,
And a
just
specific
for
underwriter for
the
this period of time.
installation of,
Right, from,
of the
you know,
pieces.
this date.
Because once the pieces are installed, then the city owns them.
Well, the city owns them.
yes.
The city owned art.
Mhm.
It's just the land that, so the land couldn't go, we couldn't put them where we wanted to put them.
Right,
So
yeah.
the area in which they're going is Billingsley owned.
Mhm. So what's the liability for, just that part of the installation, or is it for if
Well,
it
it's,
fell over, or?
it's liability for property utility lines,
Yeah, they cover
personal
electrical lines.
liability, you know, just, if.
For
something-
the installation?
Right, so
Period.
right, so it covers every possible, at the amount that's being required, it covers every possible mishap which could occur,
Mhm.
damage to property or person
During installation,
during installation,
and then,
while
once-
you're on the job.
okay, yeah.
So do so I guess, what is my next step for that?
Well, regarding, is to wait for me to get back. with
Okay.
you and see what I can do. You know, I may have spoken out of turn. Again, I don't think so. I think that we can take a look and see what we can do to reduce the amount of liability coverage that's needed.
That would be helpful, because I just feel like when I read the draft for what it's worth, and then I passed it along to you all, when I looked at the COI and then I looked at what they sent me, it was way different. So I had Don take a look at it and said, well, I think these numbers are way off for just what I can see. And he agreed and gave me suggestions. So I think that before I propose to and I know they'll come back and say, well, this is what is said on the original
Yeah,
artist call. And so if we can compromise and just see what the difference in the pricing is and kind of
Yeah, we,
come up with a solution.
yeah, even though the contract hasn't been signed, we don't want to price ourselves out of the opportunity to have these
yeah,
artists follow
Correct.
through.
yeah.
So we'll have to make it happen one way or the other.
Okay.
Is
So
there,
I will wait for you then to see.
is there a concern that the artists will lose interest, or is it normal for projects to drag on like this one has?
There is concern that artists are gonna lose interest, yeah,
Having
from my
said that,
perspective.
yeah, having said that, if they've installed on city property before, they're used to red tape. I mean, nothing is ever cut and dry. Something always comes up.
Mhm.
So I think that, that these particular artists, one being in East Texas,
Mhm.
and the other two being, I think, fairly new to the scene,
Yeah,
are hopeful to have their art pieces in and want to, they're enthusiastic about it. So I think that they're gonna bear with us. In any event, we should have information and answers, within a week, I think, for them.
Yes. And I touch base with them every couple of weeks just to say, hey, things are progressing. We're now have a draft of the contract and like, hang in there, I did let them know that we are definitely doing this. Because they're like, is this even happening? But we are definitely doing this. We're moving forward. We just, we had to get through the land and that is now been, completed on what we're, gonna do next week. We're gonna go walk it and, see where the concrete pads are exactly where they need to be poured. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in walking with us or,
Sure, I think that we should
Yeah.
visit the site, and so
Okay.
we're gonna actually relocate existing pads,
Oh,
well, that was the,
well, aren't we?
that's the hope. But if they, yes, there are existing pads. It's 800 feet is where they have to be moved. So we're gonna go evaluate, can they be moved the 800 feet? Or is it easier just to re-pour them and take the other ones up? So that's where we're at with that. So it's a matter of, Mark, who's, one of our superintendents, that to come and look at it and say, yes, they can be moved, or let's just re-pour them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we're at with that. Next week, I talked to Maria and I think we can make that work.
So we should pick a day, during daylight hours. where we can go
Exactly. And so once I talk to them, and see what days they have open, I will get with you all and see when we could all go out there and take a look at it and then kind of get a timeline going, because if we can, work out the certificate, the insurance certificates, then I think it'll move fairly quickly. Because the Foxy is already ready to be
Mhm.
installed. The other one, I think they need 4 to 6 weeks for fabrication, that Brandon Taylor
Mhm.
is gonna do Stephen Lee's, and I think Brandon Taylor's a little more seasoned, whereas Stephen Lee's a
Yeah.
newer artist.
And I would imagine they would want that, be unable to begin the fabrication process until they receive the deposits.
Mhm.
And
I
that
don't
as,
know how much liquidity they have, but oftentimes, they need to go out and buy the materials and so forth.
correct, and we're gonna do a third, like it said in the contract, and all I have to do is open a PO and we can make that happen. That could be fairly quickly, so I think, once the contract, we're at a good place with it and we have the COIs, I think we're ready to get their deposits, to them and get a timeline.
Great.
Sounds doable.
Yeah, so great.
Excellent.
So then I will follow up. Once I hear from you on that, I'll talk to the artist again and then we'll follow up with at least looking at where the concrete is either gonna be moved to or poured. We'll go from there.
Thank you.
Okay, artist outreach.
I gave my report.
Yeah, so any other questions or Bonnie already asked everything for her?
Yeah, so that, I think is great to have and
Yes,
I'll
I'm
show you all the
pleased.
stuff. I'll give you this. We talked about it. Yeah, I think great.
Festival or grant making and funding?
We had received this, pass that around, back maybe a year ago, maybe even longer than that. I believe Maria provided this to us. Did I not make it out?
That's it.
Okay.
You can have
Oh,
it. Amy and I will share.
Oh, yes.
It basically, I think the ongoing question, even before I got on this committee, was what is the budget that this committee has? And, it was always a moving target, seemed to be very liquid. And because there was TIF, it came from a lot of different sources. And so I believe that Maria chased all the dogs to find out what the answers were. And this was the answer, at this particular time. So it was obviously for fiscal year 22 budget. So that would be, I guess, at least 1 year old at this point. But it was pretty straightforward. Then, in the last 6 months, with changes in city management and council, that became very fuzzy again. So I had asked, I want to say the last meeting I was at, which was now 2 or 3 months ago, for an updated, just what is it zero? Is it, what is the number?
For the
And
budget.
yeah,
Was that asked in November?
I think it was the one when no, I was out in November, so it had to be October.
Okay,
I missed the
sorry
Octo-
then.
I missed the November meeting. And
Okay.
so I just thought if I could put this in your hands.
Yep.
Then you could go back to Maria and say, this is what you gave us last time.
Right.
And then whoever she or you have to chase down to, because I know it's not a line item and it's not 5 line items. It's hidden within TIFs or whatever it is. But I think in fairness to this committee, we ought to know, is there money or is there not money?
Right, I agree.
And then, because that's one of the goals we have, and then another goal is to track the spending. Well, if we don't have money to spend, then there is no spending. But anyway, so those are sort of goals that we can't accomplish without having some information. And then the Arts District rebranding, I know that sign toppers have been installed. We saw that.
Right here, we worked on a map actually today. They had to change 15 of them have been installed in 15 locations. The web is being updated as we speak. We just did a map of all of them. And one of them had to change one of the intersections at Denton and Farmers Branch Lane because there's no pole and they're specially made. So once I get that last location, they are installed and they are ready to go. So this went in the newsletter that just came out, the Farmers Branch. So I could pass this out. So those all, anybody else want one of these to show? Yep.
The gradation in color for the ride, or is it just aligning?
I think it's the French.
Yeah.
It's solid, but the sign is solid blue.
Nice color combination.
Like it's not white up here.
No.
It's just the
solid
lighting.
blue. Yeah, actually, did we put a picture in here too? I just made those real quick off my printer. But they are installed
Oh, that's
and our
exciting.
website will show an updated map of every location. And I believe I think I have an attachment. I thought I did. Let me see if I have an attachment on this. If we put the locations here. Yes. So here in your packet, list the locations. There is one change, number 6, that Farmers Branch Lane and Denton Drive. I believe that location has been changed, number 6. And I will give you the updated location. On that, I can email you all with the updated location. But those were the approved locations and they have been installed in the last couple of weeks. They've been.
Bonnie, can you get us to have them put this on the Arts and Culture District map? We have a map that's on the
Yes.
website.
And so,
And then if they could just drop a pin where every one of these is visually, that would be awesome.
so we did just create a map actually today,
Oh, good.
but then I rejected it because number 6, they changed it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't find the email that said the exact location. I said, well, pull it off the web
Mhm.
until I find it, because I do not want, I want it exact. So yes, I'm
Okay.
hoping tomorrow morning it will be on the web. Underneath that map will be another map exactly with pins
Yeah.
that say 6, 5, 3, and then we'll know exactly where they are.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we are working on that.
That's great.
Very exciting.
And nothing has really happened on the nonprofit or the gathering of information from other cities. It's sitting in a folder in my desk.
All right. Don, yeah. That's all the content?
I mean, we kind of really
Whatever, yeah.
talked about everything earlier in the discussion.
Okay.
So I just want to add to the wrapping.
Oh, yeah,
So we have the 2 artists.
yes.
So we're in the process of adding the 3 artists and then the 2 artists to the webpage. So I did want the names of the original 3 artists, so I can add that I can credit them for the original wrapping. I will get an update. So the problem with the two wrappings was because it was electrical boxes and not traffic boxes, the dimensions were completely different. So it's much more complicated. It's not like, okay, well, here's new dimensions. You have to rework it and resize it.
Yeah.
It's time consuming. So that has been done. And so I think it's just now getting on the schedule of the company, that Addison company that, I told you guys about few
The
months.
vinyl.
Yeah.
Yes, that will be doing the wrapping. So the two will be wrapped. And then the third one's gonna be the branding of the Mustang station. So I'm hoping to have a date of the wrapping at the next meeting. I'm gonna put that on my list to find out for sure that,
I was wondering maybe we could get that on this map too, maybe pinpointing
Sure.
where those,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
I mean, I know I can get Carlos for a picture, like I can send him out, but I don't know the other artist. For
The,
with their piece.
right, do we know?
What was the other artist? I don't remember.
the two artists, well,
You remember their name?
Because the first time they were all
Thought I had.
CSB, so it was really easy for me to reach out to
Yeah.
the teachers and say, hey, go take a
Did you-
picture with it. And then we had that and we used it for, in a newsletter or whatever. So, I mean, I know I can get Carlos because he's one of our teachers. I just don't know the other artists. So, but I think that'd be cool to. We can
think
put in
I
a
do have the
newsletter.
name. yes,
I
Oh,
know we
yeah.
have the name, so we just need to
Find them.
find them when
Okay.
it's all.
Okay.
And then do we have permission to do any more?
Um,
Or where are we with that?
Well, I think they want to complete the tasks at hand right now and kind of wrap those up and focus on that. And then, yes, I think we will be able to, but I would like to see this one completed.
Sure.
I know-
Check some things off our list.
I just know that
Please.
timing is everything, and the last one I think was difficult because it was a
Bad timing.
summer submission
Mhm.
and everybody's gone. I mean, as far as, our influence
Mhm.
over people, it's kind of gone over the summer, so just kind of,
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking that if we could really make progress on West Side Art Trail, we can get these two wrapped and hopefully get the branding of the third one really working and have the dimensions early on. So
Yeah,
I think that'll be helpful.
yeah.
And then I think, yeah, let's bring to the table new things and new contests and yes, that I'd like to see
no,
us
you
get,
definitely.
because it is, like David said, it's a lot of time has lapsed and we need to get these wrapped up.
Yeah.
So with
Well, at
that being
least
said,
now we have the dimensions for both. Are there any
Correct.
other types?
I hope not.
So then.
Well, we
need
just
to be
don't
careful.
ever pick the wrong thing again.
We need to make sure it's this one or this one,
Yeah, yeah.
so.
And
Yeah,
if we find out it's the other, we won't do it then,
Yeah.
never mind.
please.
We get to pick the places where they're
Right.
at.
Yeah.
Are
Move
there,
around.
are there boxes at Hoya?
Oh.
Yeah, I think one of them is right on the corner there.
Yep.
And
I know
that was
there's one
one,
on across the street on the corner.
I thought there
There
was
may
one.
be one.
Yeah,
right on
I
the
thought
corner.
there was. I don't know. I'm working it on Saturday, so I'll get a
Okay,
really good
okay,
look
great.
at
Because
what's
if
going
we
on
do,
there.
that would be
Well, that-
Interesting, that would be a new theme.
That would be an easy
I
yes from
know.
Wendy too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Exactly.
all eyes are gonna be on that. so
That's great.
How
And
could you
we
not
can-
wrap
we
that?
can make the.
I agree. Plus
that
it's
goes with
Yeah.
part of the arts district. We can
Yeah,
even,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think actually that was a suggestion, I want to say, as one of them. So I will follow up with
Okay.
that.
Saw people out there today mowing it. I was like,
Oh, they had yeah,
So cold.
it was a lot of people. Saturday, please come out. We'd love to have you all. It's 6 to 9. Saturday evening is the
The big
grand
day.
opening. Yeah, the big day.
That'd be really cool.
It is.
So that's the corner of Valley View and,
Comfield, yeah.
yeah.
Let's go.
I've lived here forever.
Yeah.
I went to Farmers Branch Elementary, and then I went to Newfield, then I went to Turner, so.
Keep going back.
Yay.
All right, we did West Side Art
Thank you,
Trail update.
CFP.
Talked about the marketing promotion. Oh, did we talk about that? Marketing and promotion of arts and culture committee and its projects, so
Sorry.
No, please.
So we talked about name tags. So everyone has a new name tag. I hope you, it's a start. Like I said, we picked out stickers for you all and then we're gonna get black polos. So I asked for everyone's size tonight.
So you'll do women's and men's?
Yes.
I changed
Then
my,
you're gonna change side.
I changed my size.
Okay. So yes, we are ordering these. We hope to have them for next month. So then when you have your artist exchange or,
Awesome.
okay.
That's gonna be,
so-
it. Yes, excellent.
And so the logo's gonna be in white. I mean, this is what it's gonna look like. It's just gonna say Farmers Branch. Is that arts and culture? Just like that in script. But this will be in white and I just think black shirts look nice in there.
I do too.
Oh, good.
I prefer black.
Good. I think we all. So, yes to that. Then you'll have your stickers and, you know, as we learn more about the budget and all that, and we'll see. And it's more just to say, hey, and like, if we can come up with the QR code,
Yeah,
we're
this is
trying to
great.
shorten to our, domain to make it a little more, easier to remember, so we can print it maybe on the next, set of stickers or whatever on a pad and have the domain at the bottom. So we are researching that to see what hasn't been used and just something catchy that I think it'll be easier access. And once we get the web updated, I think now it hasn't been updated in a while. So Kim and I are working on that. Once that is established, then every time we do something, it's just a matter of going in and like, hey, this is what's going on the next couple of
Yes,
months.
that makes a huge difference that you can, like, you don't have to go to somebody official to update.
Yes.
That y'all can just manage it.
Yes.
It makes,
So
so
now that
much
we
easier.
have access to do
Yeah,
that, we're doing the
great.
kind of the overhaul of it again. And Maria's done a great job. She's just been out of it a little bit because she has so many other responsibilities. So, yes, we will go, and be able to update that periodically or like, hey, can you add this to the webpage?
Yeah.
You know, and it'll be very easy for us to do that. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll have this QR code and you can just say, hey, scan that on your phone and go see what we have, all the exciting things we have coming up. So, yes, so these are being ordered. And I showed you the picture of the sticker being ordered because, you know, people like on their water bottles and stuff, I just thought it was a fun thing that people
That's
can
great.
take on your table for now.
Yeah.
And hopefully more good things to come with that.
Yeah,
Exciting.
Is that Rachel Johnson that did that?
Yes,
Okay.
Is it a bouquet of flowers?
The tree,
It's
right?
the
the tree.
Tree.
emblem, and then it's got like
The tree with
the.
You want to show them this is actually
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
that's easier to see.
Bonnie,
Oh, yeah.
is
like
there a world
the
where we
holy-
could
Which
get
different close up?
a reprint of
Got
the
it.
Arts District stickers?
Yes.
Remember, there was a really small run, almost like a test run, you kind of handed them out. And happen to have them right there.
I love them.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this was kind of, I was gonna give it to you all for have at the, but I did, there's a few left. I was able to get that, like the You Are Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so if
awesome.
you guys want to take one, then the rest, anybody want
I want
one?
to, you are beautiful.
This is
You
what
are
we need
beautiful.
just for branch arts.
Yes. I
Yeah.
did have
Just
some,
that.
Instead of the dancer.
and then
Yeah.
I got some
So
horse
I agree.
stickers.
Someone who she can.
Yeah.
And that can just be our thing for anything this committee. Yeah,
Right.
so much easier.
And then who would wanna,
If y'all do the chalk art thing again, there's actually spray chalk. And if you get like a giant stencil and put that
Oh,
tree
the,
down, and then you can just
Oh.
recreate that.
yeah, that's cool.
Cause I really
That's
do
neat.
think, cause we were talking last year about what that needed to look like.
forgive it?
That could totally,
You have a selection.
And then, sorry, you done.
no, but we were talking last year about trying to find a branding for Branch Arts Live. And Rachel came back with the dancer and I kind of sent it back saying, I think we want something that could be all inclusive.
Okay.
of
So that
the
we don't
art.
tie into just dance.
But she was struggling because it was really just about dance last year. And so I kind of just gave in because I was like, you're right. And I couldn't really verbalize what I was really
Okay.
looking for. But
But can we
that,
just use this?
I think that was her, I want to say that was from a
From
few
the-
years ago. I don't know. I asked Maria, what was their logo that Rachel came up with? And then I think Kim did call Rachel and that's what it was.
because that totally, I
Do
mean,
you like it?
Yeah.
I think it works because
I do
that's
too.
gonna be
Yeah,
off of
anything.
what.
And then that
anything
just
we-
kind of brands whatever arts and
Mhm.
culture does, this is on it.
Yes,
Cause that's what I
That's
was, I was
correct.
hoping it
I
would
think
be
that's
more.
great.
okay,
And then you just add the Branch Arts Live and the date and there you go.
correct.
And you see that and you're always gonna,
Yeah.
you
Yes,
know what that event is.
yes.
So I would love for her to put together the new flyer, but we'll have to decide on
Right.
dates. But
Yes.
besides that, she could totally.
Yes.
Just use that and then
Right,
that's,
instead
yeah.
of the date, take the.
Oh,
dancer
see, and I
out.
didn't know Rachel did that flyer.
Yes,
Oh, fantastic.
yes,
Okay.
because she's amazing.
She's amazing. She is amazing.
Yes.
And that's why I said I wanted to make sure that we had the right one and
Easy, clear.
that is it. So that's
Yeah,
why.
and this actually is a lot like the inspiration things I kept sending you.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
so
we-
funny.
we
This is
kept-
very
we
similar.
kept, Like trying to figure out, and you could do so much with that if we want to take it places too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could then, I mean, create a dancer out of that. You could then create, I mean, you could make it very artsy within that if we wanted.
Yeah, I
to,
think
if
this is
we-
a great,
But
Mhm.
yeah,
Maybe that can go on your invitation too at the bottom.
Yes.
That's what- I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure.
yes.
Um,
So,
And I'll have to,
yeah, I bet there's a way to do that.
She has
easily.
the file, I'm sure.
yes, I'm sure.
And then one more weird question.
not weird, they're great questions.
Don't take any more of my stuff.
Yeah, here now, well, it was a big pack. I'll show you
In
what
the
else.
spirit of collaboration.
Yes,
So in the Arts District, especially in the station area, there are now 4 or 5 restaurants.
mhm,
There's the Cox Market, there's another business or 2 right there.
mhm,
And then across Valley View in the old pink building, there's some businesses, an insurance agency and a dry cleaner and whatever.
mhm.
How do we get, outside of me and Don going and handing these to the businesses, which feels weird.
Yeah,
If there's a letter from Natalie on letterhead that doesn't exist, or from Allison, who's the economic development person who helps put those
Yes.
businesses there, or some way that says, hey, we're glad you're here.
You're part of this.
You're part of this arts district, we wanted you to know about it. You may have seen the sign toppers
mhm.
and just to show that you're in the district, here's a slab of stickers. Feel free to put them in your windows. And then it feels like we will have made an effort to involve them in the district that they happen to be positioned in.
Maybe they'd want to do a mural that Amy really wants to have.
I mean, I put them on the firehouse windows, that
Mhm.
they're just a little bitty there on the corner of the windows and
Mhm.
all, but it seems like if all those restaurants had them and
Yeah,
the
I
businesses
agree.
across the street, now you've got the sign toppers, you've got some
Yeah.
stickers
Mhm.
going on that sets us up for the art festival or art walk or whatever that,
Whatever the
whenever
next
that
thing.
happens.
Correct. I'll ask about it.
Okay,
I do know, like, when I do an event, I literally pound the pavement and go by
Yeah,
Elverfront and all the places and bring my Day of the
Yeah.
Dead flyers and all that. So,
yeah,
I will though see, can a letter go out? It may need to come from you, I'm not
Okay.
sure, but I'll ask, Maria. Is it appropriate that maybe economic development do one? Maybe Rachel needs to order more, stickers to do that, or where do we start with that?
Yeah.
If it comes from you,
Mhm.
and then we provide the stickers, and we will have our own little stickers. We ordered, I don't know, a couple 100, so even if we hand out a little stack to each and say more to come, so to just start with,
Yeah.
but
okay.
yeah. Hopefully I can follow up with an email in the next week
Super.
with an answer, but I love that idea, David. I think it's fabulous, and
Then they might want to help with a festival or something and donate, whatever, I don't know. but
Wait, I just thought of
that's
something, because you're right. I want that mural so bad. It's driving me
cool.
crazy.
Yeah,
Could we do a step and repeat in that mural? I mean, in that pattern, like a mural, but a step and
Yeah,
repeat?
we could.
That then could be at events or whatever. That's the Mustang, the
Yeah.
Arts District, but a step and repeat.
Okay, let me ask,
what's the stuff in?
it's like a backdrop.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it'll have like arts and culture, arts and culture. arts and
oh,
culture.
I get, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And
usually.
You know.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
You
So
take a
are you
picture
putting a
of it.
permanent step and repeat or just a?
No, you pour it,
No.
you take it,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Gotten a hard no, that they don't, that none of the business owners are interested in a mural. And so I'm like, okay, can we at least maybe do a step and repeat that can be at some of these events? So that again, we're branding the arts district. And then maybe one of the businesses will go, you know what? Might be nice if that's on the side of my building.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to push the narrative forward that we're developing an arts district. Get on board, be a
Yeah.
part of this.
Where's the mural? The one, is it on the west side of that building on the north side? of
No, we were asking anybody.
Oh.
It's just the
Wanted to do a mural
arts
on any
district
of the-
logo.
Okay, I thought you had a
Brewery.
specific place.
No.
At the brewery
Gotcha.
that was under construction for a year.
Yeah,
What if the owners said, yes, I'll let you do a mural there as part of the remodeling? Well, then owners never responded back, you know, so
gotcha.
that's.
Yeah, that's a
the
good idea,
backup
especially in
option.
that parking lot area that really only people go to park there to go to those businesses.
So just an idea.
No, I love it. I'll ask about it. I'll see if that's something that, we provide or how that works. with
Okay,
that,
great.
but, yeah. And I think it's great just to have, like, even Dawn, like, the dancers could have taken, you know, pictures or
Mhm.
whatever. We are loading some pictures onto the web of that, so
Awesome.
hopefully in the next week or so, you guys will be pleasantly surprised at
Mm-hmm.
that.
And people who are in attendance, you know, to have their photograph.
Right,
taken in front of that.
absolutely.
Encourage
So
a
fun.
lot of people
Oh,
like to
yeah.
do photographs.
Well, we always have a
I'm not
photo
one of
op at
them.
our events, so, because people love
We're
that.
gonna get you on there
Mhm.
Maybe not.
one day.
Well, and
Photoshop then.
yeah, we'll talk about that, yeah.
Okay, take appropriate action. I don't know, do we have to vote on,
What was it?
the promotion and marketing materials?
Oh, because the stickers.
Do we have to vote on whether we want more
I move
stickers?
that we have stickers.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
I don't know. Yeah, but
Okay, discuss potential content for arts and cultural newsletter. I'm gonna do for February, Brookhaven artist who's a alumni who also has a show up right now in the main gallery.
Mm,
Really beautiful ceramic work, so I think that will be. a
That's the
nice-
artist
Great.
corner.
The artist corner, yeah. And then we have a few others,
Yep, and do you think you can get that to me in the next few days?
I think so, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
I failed on mine. I'm sorry.
No. After what
Yeah, don't,
what you said, I can't make this up, I'm like, no,
There's
you
no way.
can't, like, I
It
didn't.
it
I didn't
got
even have
worse. I
words.
also tested positive for COVID last week. While we were trying to get my mother into a doctor, while we were trying to get her PT, I had to have my boys take her to the emergency
gosh.
room. I mean, it's just been like no day in the past 3 weeks has been a normal day. And I didn't mention Susan Clifford broke her leg on the
I
trip.
heard that.
So one of our friends, our doctor friend who was helping with everything, also broke her leg on the trip.
You need to try.
And had to go to the same hospital.
Yeah, right.
I know. Well, and they had to move my mother out of the bed she was in to put our friend Susan in that bed.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
I mean, it was just,
So where did your mother go?
I'm not
Yeah.
traveling with you.
Right.
my mother went to a ward upstairs
Wow,
and Susan went into the osteo wing, but it was just awful. And my mother still has not had physical therapy and she's 3 weeks post-op. She lives with me and I'm caring for her completely at this point.
Oh
Like
my
she
gosh.
doesn't do anything. I mean, she's scared too. I
Sure.
agree. I'm scared too. So I'm totally taking care of her, helping her with
Yeah.
every single aspect of living right now.
Wow.
So I
No,
failed, but
no.
I was
Don't worry
like,
about it.
what is
No,
happening to my life?
Natalie and I spoke. I'm so sorry you're having, that's a lot. on your
Yeah, no,
plate.
well, it'll be no problem. The
Okay.
person already got promotion stuff together. I'm sure I'll just send an email. And
Yes.
It'll be right there.
That'd be
Awesome.
great.
So I'm hoping by Friday I'll have it.
That'd be wonderful, just so we have it. I was hoping that Dawn maybe wanted to do a spotlight for March, since you're having your art show, maybe spotlighting CFB fine art students that,
We can do students, or we can also do Carlos, who is one of the artists for the.
Oh, yeah.
okay,
so I could reach out to Carlos.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would love that. If you could do March, that would be great. I will need it a little bit early because it's a shorter month. And I'm leaving town at the end of March. for a
I'll reach out to him
Okay.
tomorrow.
So if I can get it by mid-February. So the next few weeks. I did, if you guys saw the Alicio Garcia.
Yes.
I thought
Yes.
it was great. They were
Yeah.
thrilled.
Thank you.
They, Jen Garcia, she, worked for the city of Farmers Branch for many years, and then she's I think she does, personal training at the rec center now. And so this is her dad, who's been a longtime artist, so I think that was very successful, and they were very happy with that.
He was also one of the first artists to sign up on the database.
Oh, that's great.
So that was neat
Yes.
too, like he was an early opt-in.
Mhm. And he's a longtime Farmers Branch
Yeah.
resident,
I
so
think
that's good.
Awesome.
So then that leaves, April, Dawn. We were hoping to spotlight Dawn. Yeah. And just what you do.
You're like, what?
Okay.
Like,
This done?
Yeah, you done.
Okay.
I've been done already, so it's you. You're
Okay.
up.
And Natalie's been done and Amy's been
Uh-huh.
done, so
Okay.
either Dawn, I want to get David,
I think it could be Don and Billingsley, what they, because they do so much
Yeah, I-
in
I
their
think
for our
project, and then
community.
it's
Yeah.
almost like a promotion, but that's what they
Anything-
are. I
Yeah,
mean,
anything to not have the attention fully on me would be,
I
yeah, you
think,
get
but
to manage
maybe
it.
not necessarily just you, but what it is you do, because for me, as an instructor, to let students know, like, this is a career path. right?
Yes.
There are options of
Yeah.
not necessarily making art, but rather,
okay.
I think that would be really
Okay.
educational.
so you would be for April, so that would be mid-March
Okay,
that I would need, just like this, just a few paragraphs of, with a couple of
I was gonna
pictures.
follow 800 8x10 gloss. field.
No, you have them.
Yeah, I don't
Glamour
think-
shot.
yeah.
We would love it.
You
Okay.
just dated yourself.
And
That's an example of one.
yeah, like this is Alicio Garcia, the one we just did.
Okay.
And it's in the packet. But I made extra copies of that.
I guess you
I mean, I would love for David also to have
Yes.
one. I do have a colleague who's a longtime Farmers Branch, David Newman, who's a printmaker and he's a very well known.
Yes.
Oh,
And he
yeah,
lives right down the street,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
So,
He's true.
so do we want to shoot for May for him, or do you want, David,
Let's do
would you like
David
to do?
first and then.
Okay, David,
David, I can, let me ask him just to make sure he would want to do it. I'm sure. he would.
Okay.
David May, so that would be
Sure.
mid-April.
Okay.
And speaking of April 6th, did you get save the date on the
Yes.
boards and commission banquet?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, so David Moore will be May, and then,
How do you spell David's last name?
Newman, Newman.
and then David Newman for June.
Mhm.
Okay,
Wait, when was the boards and commissions thing?
I think it's April 6th, is that right?
Yeah.
And it's the first event in the new 1842 venue. So that's quite exciting at the
That's
historical
cool.
For
park.
sure.
That's really cool.
So-
So is it all done?
In April.
It will be. Or we'll be
Hey,
hanging art on the wall when we're there.
yeah,
Can I give some thoughts about the newsletter?
yes, you
Um,
absolutely can.
I feel like we need some stronger branding like this,
Okay,
which may already be there, but it's this size right now. And so it's feeling very generic, utilitarian. It's hard to know. I'm on the committee, and I don't know if I'm getting one from Arts and Culture or Parks and Rec.
well, it is a citywide newsletter. It's not just arts and culture.
Okay.
So it's for lots of different things going on, but it is geared towards arts and culture.
Whereas the Parks and Rec is just Parks and Rec.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so this, well,
I thought this one was
I
just.
thought it
art.
was just Arts and Culture.
That's why.
Well, but it's got,
No,
well,
I know that's my point.
could
It seems like we're very duplicative right now, and if I was in my chief marketing officer role, I would say we need to cut one of these because we're obviously struggling to find content and it's costing us twice as much. So let's cut and let's consolidate down to one newsletter, which is not what I want to do.
well,
but-
I think it pertains to arts and culture, but it isn't exclusive of the committee.
Right, but I
Yeah,
thought it was,
yeah.
it was,
It was geared more towards arts and culture, but there are other newsletters that are, yeah, that encompass everything going on in Farmers Branch.
Well, can we start
Okay,
using this?
I'm just
I
saying.
could ask about that.
From my
Conversation.
experience and
Yeah.
background, especially for the arts
Mhm.
area, we should be loud and proud,
Yes,
and we are not in our newsletter. Our
Okay.
newsletter looks very generic and,
and are you talking about the Hello Farmers Branch?
okay.
that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yes, yes,
that
yes,
Does have,
yes.
but you're right, it's right there.
Sure, yeah, there it is,
Let
right
me
there.
think.
It's, halfway down, after
So-
you scroll 5 pages.
Mhm.
And it's not even this.
Which is great, it's
the
got all these
Mustang-
events.
It's the Mustang art that says arts and
But it-
culture on it.
Just the little,
Mhm.
So it's like,
and then we get to, so let me ask the question. So what are you asking for? Just a bigger, like something this size?
so
Like that?
I was
this
under the
size?
impression that this was an arts and culture newsletter because Garland has their own arts and culture
Mhm.
thing and Louisville has their own arts. And so our city, because we have an arts and culture district and an arts and culture committee, we wanted to have a newsletter
Correct.
that was separate from Parks and Rec, separate from the generic newsletter that goes out. Not that there'll never be crossover,
Mhm.
but it would be mostly
Arts and culture.
arts and culture oriented.
I mean, I think the argument can be made, though, that these events are arts and culture events within our city.
Yes,
It's just that
yes,
we didn't
yes.
necessarily put them on, but
Yes.
Yeah, and so my point is, what is Hello Farmers Branch?
Okay.
To me, if it was this, the citizens would know. I'm telling you, I'm a citizen, but being on the committee and being as active as I am, I'm confused.
Okay.
When I get Hello Farmers Branch and I'm in the know. So I guarantee you, she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And
never
so
would've
to
thought
me,
it was
that's bad
perfect.
marketing when you're putting out stuff just to communicate it and the people don't know
so when
why
you
it's out there.
click right there, and it's tiny. But when you click right there,
It
it
takes you
does
to-
go
yeah,
to
yeah.
this page.
And yeah, and the web page has this on it.
Right, the very first
At the
thing you
very
see.
top,
Yeah,
Correct.
which is
Yeah.
awesome.
so maybe
Yeah.
being more consistent in.
I'm just
Well,
thinking
it is an
newsletter.
arts and culture newsletter, but it is also they do
Yeah,
put Parks
yeah.
and Rec event.
Cool.
But you're,
And then my second suggestion is, it seems, so we've landed on Artist Spotlight. We're
Mhm.
gonna have those once a month. Awesome. It seems like, let's pick 3 more content areas that we know.
I agree.
So what about sculptures? Our city has more sculptures than there's people sitting around this table. We certainly could highlight one every single month, and put the backstory behind it or whatever it is. It seems like sculpture would be a good thing.
Listen
It's,
to the eagle in the front.
Yeah, that's a great question. What happened to the eagle that used to be in front of the Manskill Library? Where is that sculpture? That's a good
What did
thing.
happen to it?
Somebody melted down.
Now it's a mystery.
It's probably in a warehouse somewhere.
So is that something the board wants to do, to take on that task of
Like to
doing?
find where that eagle went?
No,
or just
just to.
make a-
No, to add more
add that as a
content.
yeah, to do the,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
to do the,
We would
a
have
sculpture, highlight a sculpture once a month.
Right.
Just rather than make it specifically a sculpture, how about just highlight a piece of art in the city? Because we will eventually run out of sculptures.
Not only that, but not all the sculptures, I'm assuming, are noteworthy.
No.
No, I'm just saying that in,
Very
in
good
my
point.
effort to
Yeah.
research
Yeah.
and get values assigned to
Mhm.
the collection, some of these
Yeah.
never popped up. There are no
Yeah.
artists assigned to them. They're presumably Chinese made, which is fine. We just don't want to draw attention to subpar art.
So maybe
I
just,
guess my thought was, all this talk about collaboration, there is art. Did you know there's art at our rec center?
Yes.
In a lot of places. It's not just in the front door. Don, every time he walks in, looks at the little sculpture that's out front.
Can't help
Yeah.
myself.
And
Yeah, I
there's
look at
there's
it too.
more over
Yeah.
by the dog park. There's one in the
Yeah,
back
yeah.
and the meet. I bet you, first of all, I know all 40,000 residents have not been in the rec center. And even those who have lived here a long time probably haven't even paid attention that there's art there. That could be a
Mhm.
topic of art at the rec center. I don't know that we have to be the ones who write it. There's a rec center person probably who knows. Let's collaborate with them and figure out how we get the message out about art at the rec center, art at the library, art at the wherever it
Well,
is.
and bring the Farmers Branch marketing team into it, assuming that,
It's one person.
oh, is that right?
It's just Rachel Johnson
Gotcha.
who's marketing.
Well,
Yeah.
she and we can become good friends.
Yeah, it's just people have a lot of, they just have a lot on their plate right now.
How
With a
much
lot of projects.
traction does the website, that page get? Do you know? Do we have?
In October, I gave the statistics on that
Mhm.
and I don't, it was, I don't want to say because I don't remember now, but I could.
I mean-
I could resend that out.
I think that was the question we were asking too, and I remember you said it, but I don't.
And then
remember
Owen
the
even
answer.
asked.
Yeah,
How.
on the
many people
newsletter.
open it.
Like that's the other thing is you can tell if somebody's opening newsletters or whatever. Like, are we stressing ourselves
Right.
out?
Right,
about
that's
something
right.
that
That.
Yeah,
that four of
I
us
don't-
open?
I don't want, I don't want all this work to go into it. and
Right.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well,
It's crazy.
It's the same
Everybody's-
amount. that-
Everybody's overworked, and so you don't want to put.
Yeah.
The, you know,
So I think it's, I want to say 9,000. It's sent out to almost 9,000. I put it in an email after the
Yeah.
October follow-up. And then Owen had said, well, how many actually open it? And I think after, like, how many open it the first time and then they send it out again to get a second reading on how many people open it. So I'll find that email and I'll resend it with the data, because I did research that.
well, it
And
could
have that.
also be a thing rather than making it like, just maybe if whoever's willing to reach out and start to find those things, to start just gathering the information. So then if we decide to move
Mhm.
forward with it, then you have a month's worth
Mhm.
without having to scramble every month.
We
Well,
have
there's a-
6 months
Or
worth
what-
that.
yeah,
There is,
because-
Don had done the inventory. There is an inventory of every art, of every
Mhm.
sculpture, every art piece in the
Right.
city. So
But
there
then
is
looking
that.
at finding the backstory is gonna be a little
Mhm.
bit more work. So
Mhm.
if we had more time to put that together and then we know we have like 6 months worth of stuff or whatever, then
Yep.
rather than going every month going, oh my gosh, now we gotta, oh my gosh, now we,
Mhm.
I just think that might be.
Aware of it until I was on the committee. And then all of a sudden I went, oh, look at that. And it would be really interesting. That's part of why I loved Gail's little
Scavenger
scavenger
hunt.
hunts and all her little contests. I thought were so fun because they call attention to what's already in our city,
Mhm.
which is pretty awesome and pretty cool. Like there has been this history of commitment and investment in the arts, and it would be really interesting to highlight that.
I agree. So do you want me to put that on the agenda for next month and we could,
Let's talk
I
about
can,
it, yeah.
we could talk about it and I can send you out the inventory of all the sculpt, the art that we do have around the city. And then we could at least pick a few and then
Yeah, we
see.
could like assign people their. plan
Yeah,
on
and then
things.
see.
I have 2 more categories.
Okay,
Okay, well, hold on.
no, I like that.
I wonder if that could also be tied into a contest.
Now that I pay online, I don't get it at all unless I go get it.
Well, you
Um,
can sign up for it online.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. But as far as like getting like normal blasts and stuff like that about it, like social media would be a good format for it, but the campaigns that I've seen that have been largely successful for Farmers Branch is when like they have the Rose Dango, or they used to have the Rose Dango, and then they would do like an art like exhibit, submit your pictures of the roses in the garden.
And that's
If
something
you say,
Pam
this
used
is
to
the,
do.
this is the new sculpture, that one that you're talking about on
Yeah.
that way. Showing your community photos of you, walking in the community and taking a photo there or something like that. You can get people in the community taking photos of that place. And so you're like targeting that specific spot each time.
Yeah.
We're kind of making those sculptures like Instagrammable
Yeah,
moments.
exactly.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's gonna do research. It's hard enough getting students to do
Yeah.
research for free, and we're gonna do it for fun.
Yeah.
But I do like, people will take pictures and it could be kind of scavenger hunty, like where, I don't know, I mean, I would just
And if
say
we
like.
could get that to be a
hashtag-
forecast thing, that would be really great.
And encourage them to use
Mhm.
filters.
You know, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like add filter.
4 things
do
to
an
know in
AI.
Farmers Branch this week. I love that forecast. If
Mhm.
we could get fine sculptures and
Mhm.
get your Instagram picture.
So maybe we do that for next month. We could put it as like, and start assigning people different objects once we have the list, and
Mhm.
that could be a agenda. item.
Yes, and that's the list that you put, the inventory list of the art that is in Farmers Branch.
Okay.
Side note, we might want to consider, if new pours are being placed, for the sculpture, pouring one for a bench. It'd be nice to have an opportunity to
Okay.
sit in the vicinity of these 3 pieces.
That's a great idea.
Mhm.
So Artist Spotlight,
Oh, he's got more. Sorry, I forgot.
2 more.
Arts in the City, which is our sculpture one. Arts District. It seems like every month we could have something about the Arts District. And then events. Some of these we already have, like the Joya opening would be an event, the Day of the Dead would, that's where the crossover start,
Mhm.
or the Artist Exchange, or the Arts District. I feel like if we can show people, like Amy's saying, where in the city there's art, especially tied to buildings, here's what I guarantee you. I would be pretty positive that as the discussion was occurring about renaming this committee, the Sports Events and Arts Committee, that no one was thinking about the art at the Recreation Center, which is sports and art,
Mhm.
because they don't even know it's there. And so to me, that's what we ought to have passion for, is getting the word out that there's these cool sculptures there that the artist, walks up and looks at every time, every single meeting, Don walks and looks at the sculpture. I'm telling you, he does. Every meeting we're in that room and I look out the window, I see the sculpture out there.
I do too,
But
and I
if
never knew
wasn't
it
in
was
that room,
there.
I would never know that
Yeah.
sculpture was there.
So, okay, so Arts in the City, Arts District, and then art events or
Events, yeah.
events.
And if you want
events
to throw
in
the word
general,
culture in there,
Mhm.
cultural events.
Mhm.
Which
But
we
it
have in
seems
there.
like as a editor of a newspaper, that if you had these categories, we're doing great with the artist spotlight, then we, instead of just saying, what do y'all want in the newsletter next time? It's, here's the 4 category, and like you're doing, we start planning out,
Right,
okay, we're gonna highlight this sculpture, we're gonna highlight this sign, we're gonna do a scavenger
Yeah.
hunt for citizens to find art or whatever it is, that gets people involved.
okay, I like that. I will suggest it.
Okay.
Because that's what I could do to Rachel and Maria and then go from there and see. Another place I can suggest it is on the, historical park social media, like if we can highlight sculptures that way and some art around the city. Because I think the historical park ties in a little bit with arts and culture. And
Yeah.
so that's a way, and I work, we share an office, our museum educator, Lauren. And she heads up that social media. So maybe we could, did you know that at the recreation center, there is the name of the sculpture and a tidbit about it?
I,
So,
I love
so
that.
that's another avenue too we can pursue.
Cool.
So I will let you know and can you put that we'll put that on, let's put that on the agenda to at least look at the inventory list that you all put together, I guess, several years ago.
About 2, yeah.
About 2 years ago.
Include or take off, I know we're gonna take off the art shows. Let's see,
Right.
Yeah,
If you want to just talk about it during your
Yeah, I
contests
can
and
just, there's
festivals.
no need to, like,
add to it, yeah.
yeah, I can.
Anything else that you all suggest?
I'd like to maybe just add, the new committee members, like when, or if we get
Okay.
any more solid time of when we'll have more people. And I'll email the mayor about the multicultural element and maybe add that as a agenda update.
Agenda update will be,
I guess committee status update, so I guess just leave it there.
on the multicultural subcommittee element.
If there's any, there might be just, it's still discussion, but
So you're gonna email the mayor? And then you'll send collateral to me yeah. And then I'll pass that along to Stacy and we'll get it on the web and we'll put it up there.
Yeah, that would be great.
And David, hopefully I'll have some answers before the next meeting. Whatever I can on some of this, I will send you an email.
Okay.
If not, we'll include it and discuss it in the agenda. Don, you have anything? You're good. And then we'll touch base in the next day or so.
Yes.
Yeah. And Dawn, you need anything from me right now on March or anything?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty organized and have all that.
Okay.
Now I'll start picking up the rocks that to live from.
I would like on a future agenda, not necessarily the next meeting, but maybe the meeting after that. I think the committee needs to discuss the whole idea of the nonprofit.
mhm.
Do we need one? Why do we
Okay.
need one? What do we need it for? What are we expecting from that? I think that's a legacy item that I inherited when I joined the committee
Yeah.
that had been on for 2 years before that. And it will take work. I don't see the fire in the belly. There's not a citizen out there that is saying, oh my gosh, we gotta have a nonprofit. We don't have a imminent gift that I am aware of that people are trying to give money to. If we did, I know our city can accept money. We can definitely do that.
Yes, we can.
And direct it toward whatever the donor wants to put it at. And
Correct.
So I keep scratching my head wondering, I know you're supposed to have a nonprofit that is next to your arts and culture thing, but I would just like to see what this group's
Well, I think
thoughts are about all
part
that.
of it historically was Matthew.
Yes,
money.
he had money and he wanted to create one.
You know, because I don't
Right.
think it had even
Right.
come up in discussion
Mhm.
prior to that.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, one of the only uses we had come across is we could have really benefited from some funding for Branch Arts Live.
Yeah.
That could have really benefited from some money, because I
We
think,
didn't need a lot, but.
no,
even
just a little, but
Yeah.
you know, like Dawn provided the meals for the volunteers herself personally and provided the water personally, and it would have been nice if there was
Yeah.
some way to take donations from other people to help fund that rather than Dawn have to do it personally. But, you know, is it worth going through all the effort that it's gonna take?
I mean, I
Get
know
a
the historical
nonprofit. I
park
don't know.
has a nonprofit. The library has a nonprofit. So other committees have nonprofits.
But
that
those are all entities with buildings and
Right,
stuff like
right.
that.
Right,
Right. Well, let's talk about it in March.
yeah.
Maybe y'all could incorporate the obtainment or allocation of the COIs through that nonprofit and take the burden off of the individual artist.
Yeah, that's a thought,
Mhm.
for sure.
Right, anything else? Anybody wanna-
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
A third. Thank you all.
And the time is
TOD is.
7:41.
How you feeling?
I'm much better. I didn't really feel bad with COVID.